Hey, Shalom, Yashalala. Um, I want to do a quick, short video about the Hebrew Bible. Contrary to popular belief, we have several ancient or several older Hebrew Bibles. The most common is the Masoretic text. Um, Another Hebrew text of the Bible, particularly the Torah, is called the Samaritan text. Um, the Samaritan goes back to a Second Kings 16, 17, and 18 when you read about Yasharallah, Israel going into captivity under the King Shalmaneser, and we got taken into captivity. Now there was some Levites or Levite priests that was commissioned to come out of captivity and go back into northern Israel to the Samaria area and teach the people the laws and the commandments that Yahawah had given us. At that time, we only had mainly the first 5 books of law. Those are the main books of law. Might have had some Joshua, but it wasn't considered to be a book of law. So the priest gave them the book of the law, and he wrote it. Now later on, they changed a few things in it. All right, but it's a pretty true copy. The Masoretic text, you have 2 main sources for the Masoretic text. One is the Leningrad Codex, which was done around 1000 AD, and the other one would be the Aleppo Codex, or copy of the Hebrew text, which was done a few years before that in the 900s. You have 2 main schools that were able to bring these texts down to us: the Ben Asher school and the Ben Naphtali school. The Ben Asher school is the one that put the Tiberian vocalization into the Torah, the Bible text. They used the Masoretic text, all right, which was the text of the Tanakh at that time period. Now remember, this is in the 9-1000s. So the war between Islam, believers in the Torah, and those that are anti-Torah is in full swing. All right. So this is not like at a peaceful time that this book comes along, that the Masoretic text comes along. And remember that the Tiberian vocalization given by the vowel points, the Nikud, all right, is only one of several pronunciation systems that were around at the time that the Masoretic text was completed, which was around we'd say by 1000s we had a complete copy of the Leningrad Codex. It's the oldest complete manuscript of the Bible that we still have, but the oldest complete copy of the Torah is the Leningrad Codex. Is actually the Samaritan, and the oldest intact copy of the Bible itself, with most of the books, is going to be the what they call the Septuagint, which was done in Greek, but from copies of the Hebrew that were kept on file, on record at the temple in Jerusalem, done approximately from backwards to forward around 700s. We have the Samaritan copy taking place, which is only the Torah. From the 700s until 250 AD, we have Isaiah, we have Jeremiah, we have Ezra, we have Joshua, we have Judges. So around the time of 250 AD, that's when we have the Hebrew is copied into and translated into Greek. It was done by one of the Roman emperors, or the Greek rulers rather, which became the Roman Empire. Ptolemy Philadelphus. He had the largest library. He was based in Egypt. So then Okay, 1,000 years later is when you have this Masoretic text kind of just popping up, which didn't have Baruch, which didn't have the letters of Jeremiah, which didn't have Second Esdras, which didn't have any of the Maccabees. It had none of the other books. But these books were existing in the Greek copies of the Bible, but some of our people chose not to. Those that believed in HaMashiach included the books. Those that didn't believe in HaMashiach did include the books also. It was a Masoretic text in that tradition that decided to exclude the books that we call Apocrypha now. All these books appeared in the earliest Anglican, under the King James Bible, also under the Dahomey Reigns Bible and the Catholic Bibles, also in the Spanish Bible, Biblia del Oso, completed in 1569. They all had the Apocryphas. All right. So nonetheless, I want to go into the Hebrew. I'll show you something about the Hebrew text. Now, right here, I had to do this thing kind of funny because I couldn't get everything on the screen. But this is the what do you call this? The control group. Okay. But if you look up right here, I don't know if, I hope y'all can see it. If you look up right here, it says SP, which stands for the Samaritan Pentateuch. Okay, Samaritan Pentateuch. You see it right there, Samaritan Pentateuch. Over here, the OHB is a Leningrad Codex, which is, was in Leningrad, Russia. But this is the Masoretic Hebrew Bible text. All right, this is my primary version. That's what it's called, because this is like the measuring stick. So everything is, the center text is going to be what that version has. All right, and I'm gonna do that for a reason. I'm showing you something. I'm gonna show you a very simple test that proves that the Masoretic text is flawed from the onset. I mean, from when you first start reading the Masoretic. Now, the Masoretic text is not a bad translation. It's not a bad Bible. It's not evil. It's not demonic, anything like that. I'm just saying it's not the best Hebrew translation. So you have to look at another Hebrew translation in addition to the Masoretic text, as well as looking at, I would suggest looking at the Septuagint, which, even though it's a Greek translation, it's still an older translation than the Masoretic text. It precedes the Masoretic text by 1,200 years. I mean, come on, you don't got to be a genius to know that, okay, a book that's 1,200 years old, 250 BC, Israel was still, under Roman occupation. We still had the priesthood set up, though. All right, this was before the time of HaMashiach. So these are the same books that he was using. You did? So as opposed to the Masoretic text, that's after, Catholics take over, after we got so many Catholic church. You got the Eastern Orthodox, you have the Western, Catholic. You got all these different splits that took place, and you have all this political interest behind the Bible. 250 AD, you ain't had none of that. You got a Greek translation that was done by Israelite men, about 70 of them, called the Septuagint. And then you have the Samaritan text, which was done by Israelites under the supervision of the Levites. Both of these were supervised under Levi, by the way. So now I'm going to just show you very simply. Okay. Now we're in Genesis chapter 2, as you can see right here. All right. And we're in the, we're looking at the text right here. All right. So right here, it tells you, Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. It says, Wayakal, meaning, and we're finished. Wayakal, meaning, and they were finished. Hashemayim, the heavens, Waharatza, and the earth. Wakal and all, I'm over here, right side of the screen. Wakal and all, Tzabam, and all their host, all the host of heaven was complete. That's Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. All right. Now, if we go down, we're going to go to verse 2. And this is where you get the first problem with the Masoretic text at. And I'm going to show you another one also. This is the first problem. It says, Wayakal, and which means and finish. Alahayim, the powers. Bayawam, on the day. Hashasha or Shishi, on the 6th day. Okay. Malakathwa. Okay. Malakathwa. All right. Work. Okay. Their work. Ashara, which Isha, which made Waya Shabbat, and rested by Yom, or on the day Ha Shabyaiya, 7th. Makal, from all Malakatwa, his work. Ashara, which Isha, he made. Now we know that the Most High Yahawah, he ended his work on the 6th day. We see it right here. If you look at the bottom of the screen, six might come up. But Shish or Shasha means 6. Okay. In Bayom or Bayawam means on the day. So it says, and finished Alahayim on the day 6th. Okay. His work, which he made. So it says that the work ended on the 6th day, and it says that resting happened on the 7th day. Now, this is what the Samaritan text says. Now, Samaritan text only includes the Torah because it was done after 722 BC under the Assyrian captivity, when the Levite priest came from the captivity and he was sent back into Israel, the northern part of Israel, to do a copy so that people could know about the God of the land, which was the power of Yasharallah, which was Yahawah. But we see here, it says Yahawah ended his work on the 6th day. Now, I'm going to switch these two up here around, SP and OHB, so the OHB, which is the Masoretic text, can come first. Let me show you what it says. All right. I'm going to scroll down and go to verse 2. Look what it says. It says, and he finished Alahayim the day Hashabyaiya. This says that the work was finished on the 7th day. All right. Then it says Malakath, and work, Asherah, which Isha made, Wayeshab, and rested by Yawam, on the day Hashabyaiya, 7th day. So this says that the Most High, the Alahayim, this says that they, Alahayim, both finished on the 7th day, and also that the Alahayim, it says the Alahayim right here, rested on the day 7. So you can't do both on the 7th day. You can't finish up your work, be done with it on the 7th day, and resting on the 7th day also. Now, the paradigm or the mystery is solved. You know, you look in the King James Bible, it says that the Most High ended his work on the 7th day. He didn't, because the 7th day is after the sun goes down on the 7th day. He didn't end his work then. He ended his work before the 7th day came in. He ended his work on, so I don't end my work on the Sabbath. I end my work on the 6th day. And then when it's finished on the 6th day, when the Sabbath comes in, I'm already finished my work. All right. So once again, what I'm showing you here is a Masoretic text that your King James is based on. And we was taught when we came into the truth, oh, that's the best translation of the Bible in English. Maybe it is. But it's better translation when we look into the Hebrew. It's better Hebrew accounts of the Bible. All right, it's better Hebrew accounts of the Bible. So now this is the Masoretic text right here. It says, and finished Alahayim on the day 7th, all right, his work which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. So this says that Alahayim both finished the work, accomplished it, was done, but it was finished on or inside of the day of the 7th of the Sabbath, which is not true. Alahayim ended his work on the 6th day. And on the 7th day, he what? Rested from all his work. Now, this is just one example. Now, the other example I want to show you is going to be into, I want to go into Exodus chapter 12. Okay? I'm going to go to Exodus chapter 12, and I want to go all the way down to verse 40. All right, I'm going to go to Exodus 12 and 40. Now, once again, on the right side right here is the, that's going to be the Masoretic text. Let me go to it up here so you see it. Wait for it. See, Masoretic Hebrew Tanakh, based on the Leningrad Codex. Okay, so now this is the OS. Okay, OSMHB. All right. So once again, this is just a long name for the Masoretic text. Now I'm in Exodus 12. Go to verse 40. Okay. Go to verse 40. It was actually a very, very, very good brother of mine, a Zebulonite brother by name of Eleazar, that lives down in Atlanta now. Zebulon brother, actually from Belize, that actually challenged me about the KJV rendition of Exodus chapter 12 verse 40, because Exodus chapter 12 and 40 says that we were in Egypt for 430 years. And that's what I went with. I didn't move off of that because that's what the Bible said. Once I saw the difference of what Paul says in Galatians 3:17 and 18 and what the Samaritan Pentateuch says in Exodus 12 and 40, then I can see further of how the Masoretic text was not, as good as the Samaritan translation in many instances. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and read this real quick, then I'm going to shut it down. This is the Masoretic text, remember. All right. It says, and the dwelling of the children of Israel that dwelt in Egypt, okay, was 30 years and 400 years. So it says we were in Egypt for 430 years. Okay. Now, if you look at this text in the middle, this text in the middle shows you the differences between the texts. Okay. It shows you the differences between the Masoretic text and the Samaritan text. Now, this text right here, it says right here, it says, Wamawashab and dwelt Banya, the children of Israel, Yasharallah, right here. See right here, it says, and their fathers, Wa Abatham. Then it says, which, Asherah, they dwell, or it was dwelled, they dwelled YAHAWAH. Then it says Baratzah in the land. Now check this out. Canaan in the land of Canaan. And in the land, okay, and in the land of Egypt. Then it says Shalashim, which is 30, Shana, years, Wa'arbi, and 4, or groups of 4, Ma'awath, 100, Shana. So 430 years. So the Samaritan says that the children of Israel and their fathers dwelt in Egypt and in Samaria, in Egypt and in the land of Canaan for 430 years. Now, this is the Masoretic text right here. Let me actually show you in the Samaritan text. Okay. Now, the Samaritan text is true to what really happened. Okay, it's true to what really happened because it also confirms with the Septuagint. Now, nobody agrees with the Leningrad except for the Leningrad. Nobody agrees with the Aleppo except for the Aleppo. Now, when we go into chapter 12, verse 40, once again, let's look at what the Samaritan actually says. It says, and they in the dwelling of the children of Yasharallah and their fathers, all right, Wa Abatham, and their fathers, Asherah, which Yashabwa, which they dwelt or named, Baratzah in the land, Canaan, in the land of Canaan, Wabaratzah, and in the land Matazadium of Egypt, Mitzrayim, Shalashim, which is 30, Shana, which is years, Wa'arbi, all right, which is 4, Ma'awath, 400, Shana, 400 years. So now this says that the children of Israel dwelt in the land of Canaan, and their fathers in the land of Canaan, and in the land of Israel, the land of Egypt, rather, for 430 years. Nah, Canaan was not known. Canaan was where Israel is now, and Egypt was Matazadium, which is Egypt. It's two different lands, all right? So now the King James says we were in Egypt for 430 years. The land of the Samaritan Pentateuch, which is the older version of the Torah, says that we were in the land of our fathers, and us were in the land of Canaan and the land of Egypt for 430 years. Now, who was the first father that we had that went into the land of Canaan? Was it not Abraham? And the Most High made him a promise. So let's see, from the promise of Abraham to the time we came out of Egypt, let's see how many years those were. First, I'm gonna change the text up here. I'm gonna go to the book of first we gotta pick another Bible. Let's pick I'll pick the King James. All right. The reason picking let's go ahead. Let me see. I want to pick the King James, or I would like to pick the King James. I like to pick the King James, but I never used the English Bible on here before. I don't know how to get to the King James on here. So hold on, let me see. How do I get to the? I don't know how to get to no daggone English Bibles on here, man. We have the Greek New Testament. Let's go to is there anything under the coin interlinear? No, I don't know how to get into the King James on here, y'all. Let's see what we can do. We go to Septuagint again. See if any other Greek. Actually, you know what? Let's go over here. Because I'm through with the Masoretic for right now. So let's see if we can get any. See if we can get another text in here. I don't know if they would let us get to the King James, man. Well, you know what I do? Because it's the same thing. I'll just go to, my old standby, right? And we'll come back to this page right here. We'll just go to Bible Hub. All right, we'll go to Bible Hub real quick. All right, and in Bible Hub, we'll go to the book of Galatians, chapter 3. Okay. We go to the book of Galatians, and we'll go to chapter 3. And then we'll go down to verse 17. Now, this is the Greek, and we're going to read this from the left to the right. All right. Verse 17. Listen to what it says. It says, now everybody with me now. Remember now, it said 430 years. Book of the Samaritan Bible, the ancient Hebrew Bible from the Samaritans, said that we were in the land, that us and our fathers were in Canaan and in Egypt for a total of 430 years. Now, the Masoretic text says that we were in Egypt alone for 430 years, and that's wrong. I'm going to prove it to you. Now, we also read the Masoretic text where it said that Yahawah ended his work on or in the seventh day. And then we read in the Samaritan Pentateuch, the older version of the Torah, where it said Yahawah ended his work on the sixth day and he rested on the seventh day. But the Masoretic text says right there in Genesis chapter 2, it said Yahawah ended his work on the seventh day and he rested on the seventh day also. So he did both, as opposed to the Samaritan Pentateuch says that Yahawah ended his work, was finished with it in the sixth day. And then it says that when the seventh day came, he was resting. All right. So now let's look at the 430-year discrepancy that we have. All right. Now, this was, of course, based on the Greek agreeing. This shows you that the Greek even agrees with the, because this understanding that Paul is giving us is based on a version that agrees with the Samaritan. It's not based on a version that agrees with the Pentateuch, because the Samaritan says Abraham and our fathers were in Canaan and Egypt for 430 years. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the children of Israel, for 430 years. We came out 430 years. Now the Pentateuch, the Samaritan says 430 years between Canaan and Egypt, our forefathers. Now, the Masoretic text that the King James is based on, it says 430 years in Egypt alone. Okay, now let's read this. This is Galatians chapter 3. You can see it right on your screen. Galatians chapter 3, verse 17. It says, this now I say, the covenant having been confirmed beforehand by Yahawah. Afterwards, 430 years having come law. What does that mean? We left out of Egypt. The Most High gave us the law on the 430th year when we left out of Egypt. The 430th year is when Moses gave us the law. We left out at the first month of the year, which is the month Abyab or Abib. We left the first month of the year, and then we got the law. Now, it says that the covenant came first. And then it says afterwards, there was a gap of 400 right here, 430 years. Then we got the law. All right, now, what promise is it talking about? Let's show. Okay, what covenant was it talking about? Right here. If for by the law is inheritance, it is no longer a promise, but to Abraham through promise has granted it YAHAWAH. So YAHAWAH gave Abraham the promise and the fulfillment of the covenant through the law, through YAHWH rather. That's who fulfilled that promise that was given unto Abraham. So here we see clearly the Bible talks about the covenant that was given to Abraham, and then afterwards is a gap of 430 years, and then we get the law. So this, and then who's mentioned? It talks about Abraham. All right. It talks about Abraham. It says, if for by the law the inheritance is no longer a promise, but to Abraham through a promise has granted, YAHWAH has granted it. All right. So the promise, which was in the form of the covenant that YAHWAH made with Abraham, that of his seed, he was going to bless his seed. So this is when Abraham first came into the land of Canaan. YAHWAH made that covenant with him. And then 430 years later, as we see right here, all right, 430 years later, we got the law, right? So the 430 years includes Abraham, it includes Isaac, and it includes our father Jacob also. All right. So what happens is once we go back, okay, once we once we go back and we look at the let's see, where's my once we go back and we look at the Masoretic and we look at the Masoretic text, the Masoretic text says, oh, that we were in oh, they really got me messed up now right here.